Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all about our September homeschool plans and goals and give you a little bit of an August recap. I think this is month 2 in a row of being on time for my monthly plans and goals and recap videos. So that is a big deal because I think I was like 6 months plus of being late by like a few days, sometimes even a week. I think one time or two. I haven't posted in the middle of the month, but as imperfect as this has been, I really feel like I've enjoyed, and you guys have said that you've enjoyed this consistency on my channel where once a month, I'm gonna come on here and recap the month for you and then share with you our plans and goals for the next month, not just related to academics and curriculum, but just the holistic look at a homeschool family's life and how things might vary or stay the same from one month to the next. So August was an interesting month. We had a major life change happen that I'm not ready to share about yet and not sure if I will. It's something that's still fresh and that my family is still working through, so we will be continuing to work through that together and with the Lord, and maybe eventually I will share, but please keep my family in prayer. Before we jump into all things August and September, I have 2 really exciting things that I have to share with you. If you've been around for at least a couple of years, you may remember the Rooted Homeschool Retreat that I did in the Catskill Mountains 2 falls ago, or is it 3? I don't even remember now. I think it's 2 falls ago. And I was contemplating whether or not I would ever do this again or something similar, and an opportunity arose, and I am in the tentative planning stages for it. So I have an interest form for you guys if you think you might be interested. I have tentative dates for this October. It is actually going to be in Northeast Pennsylvania. It is like a wedding and event venue, so I'm really excited about the opportunity to gather there as homeschool families and just spend a time resting and connecting with each other, with other homeschool families, doing some fun activities, possibly going on a local field trip there, having meals together and s'mores around the fire and all the things. So I am putting the interest form down in the description box below. If you are even remotely interested in it, please take the 5 minutes and fill it out, because within the next week, if there is enough interest, I'm going to be opening up official registration, and that is going to be first come, first serve. But I will be sending it first to the people who fill out the interest form, because I want to make sure it's a good fit for you guys. There is very limited lodging there. It is not going to house a ton of people. People will have their own cabins, and once they're gone, they're gone. And it is like in the mountains, so it's not like there's many other places that you could stay and still attend the retreat. So I'm putting that down there. And that is kind of last minute, right? Like it's going to be early to mid-October. So that is down in the description box below in case you are interested. And then I also am really excited to share that I am going to be joining Jamie from Simply Living It. You may know her from on here or on Instagram, to host the Rooted and Renewed retreat in Donnelly, Idaho in November. She did her first one in the spring and I attended it. I was really excited to get to spend time with her and support her and be a part of it. And she asked me to join her to host it this fall. And so I'm going to put the link down in the description box below. I think there are, as of right now, 7 or 8 spots left. So you definitely want to grab your spot if you are interested. And if you have any questions, you can put them down in the comments. You can email me. You can DM me over on Instagram. You can reach out to Jamie and we will answer any questions you may have. But it's going to just be for women, and we're going to be looking to rest and recharge and pour into mothers and just have a special time of retreat in the beautiful mountains of Idaho. So definitely check that out if that's something you're interested in. Let me know if you guys took any special trips this summer in the month of August, if you have anything exciting coming up. Also, let me know if you've started school yet. So I know some people start in July, some people start in August, some people start in September, some people are year-round homeschoolers like we are. Now, while we are year-round homeschoolers, we do have an even looser schedule and rhythm in the summertime than in other parts of the year. So I don't completely stop. Like we don't have a last day of school and we don't really have a first day of school. I've thought about making an official first day of school, but it really kind of isn't real for us. Like for example, this past week we did start our new history curriculum, which I'll share with you guys about in a little bit. And we've continued with independent subjects on and off throughout the summer for math and language arts. And then even some history that I was doing with my 14-year-old one-on-one. We continue with Bible study and read alouds as a family in the evening during our evening time, but then also during, the morning and the afternoon when I have just my 5, 6, 10, and 14-year-olds at home with me. If you're new around here, I just graduated my first homeschooler who is 17, who started his own business, so that's pretty cool. And of course, we have my husband who is usually working when we are homeschooling. So it was a busy but also restful month, which I haven't felt in quite a while. I did feel that a little bit in July, but August, it definitely did feel like we were able to slow down more. I was able to catch up with some friends and go on walks with my husband and go on a walk with a friend. And if you watched my August homeschool plans and goals video, I did share that like one of my goals was a relational goal of spending more quality time with the people that I love and care about. Another one of my goals was going on more walks. So while I haven't done it a ton, I have been more consistent, and so I'm thankful for that. I was just looking back at my August goals before I jumped on this video just to refresh my memory because it seems so long ago. And one of those goals was to drink more water, and that is like, I say that every single month and I'm still failing at the water goal, you guys. So send all of your tips down below. I've gotten so many good tips, even from like health coaches about how to drink more water, like setting a timer and all of these different things. And I still struggle with it so much because I'm so much quicker to grab a cup of tea, which if it's not caffeinated, that does count. So like my herbal tea in the morning, I've been really consistent with every single morning. I do a warm cup of herbal tea, but I'm much quicker to like make myself a cup of coffee. Yeah, make a cup of coffee. That's pretty much what I do. So I need to do better still with the water, but I did have some goals that we did a better job with, like the walking, finding more time for rest instead of feeling like any of my margins I need to be productive. So that's something that I'm going to continue to work on. Those are some of my goals moving into September that I remember off the top of my head. But I did write down like personal goals, spiritual goals, relational goals, financial goals, homeschool goals, and work goals. I already talked to you about the work goals. Financial is really just like paying more attention to where our money is going. I'd like to say I'm pretty good with money, but I really do need to tighten up in this season. And then relational goals, I literally have just a list of time with this person, and is every single one of my children independently and my husband. So that is my relational goal. I notice, especially with my 17-year-old, with him working full time and starting his own business and, having his own social life and things like that, I don't necessarily get as much one-on-one time with him. I do get it and I do treasure it, but I would like to spend more fun time with him, I guess is really what it is. And then more fun time as a family. So that's something my husband and I have been talking about the last few weeks. And we have started to do all that already. We did go to the apple orchard already, which typically I don't think we go at all in August because we're not in that fall vibe mindset yet. But we did it. We went and we picked apples and saw the animals and had apple cider donuts and apple cider and all the good apple picking stuff. So we'll probably go again or go to pumpkin patch or do something like that again, but really wanting to have some more fun together as a family. Personal goals, I've really been slacking on my workouts, and these are 10 minutes a day. So I really should be able to do this every day or almost every day. So I want to get back to that because I had been getting in a better rhythm previously. Even though I've been walking more, which is good, I'm going to give myself credit for that. I have been slacking on the actual workouts. So I want to get back to that, increasing the water like I mentioned. I want to get better at eating lunch. So I've gotten really good at eating a good breakfast, like having my warm tea, having a good breakfast that has enough protein and even veggies in with my eggs, which is something I started 6 months ago and have been pretty consistent with. But I need to get better at lunch because I find that the late afternoon will be coming and I'm getting hangry and impatient, and I need to do better about lunch for myself. Purging stuff, specifically clothes, is something that we did start to work on in the month of August, but that we're going to continue into September. This is something we've always done as a practice, but I want to do it more consistently. I want to be more intentional about the things that we have. We need less stuff. Does anybody else feel like that? Especially clothes. I need to let go of even more clothing. I'm really trying to not have a ridiculous amount of clothes, and I really want to try to prioritize more natural fibers, which can be really hard because it can get expensive. But like if you look at the research about cotton and linen and wool and how much better it is for your health, I really do want to prioritize that. So I will try to remember to put some links below to some of my favorite places for natural fibers, quality clothing that lasts longer, that may be more expensive, but you're buying less of it and you're buying less often. So it really is a good value to shop that way. And so that's something I'm learning instead of like buying everything at Target and on Amazon. What else? I feel like that is it for general goals outside. Oh, spiritual would be like more time in the Word. I'd say I did it, but didn't do it as much as I would like to. And having more patience. So I want to work on being more patient, consistently more patient, because sometimes I do an amazing job and other times not so much. And like being in the Word and also like not being hungry are my number one, and like being in prayer and worship, obviously, but like it's a fruit of the Spirit. So spending time in the Lord's presence should produce patience and all the other fruits of the Spirit, but also not being hangry and letting my blood sugar crash is also important for being patient. So here's your reminder to like eat a good breakfast, eat your lunch, drink water, move your body. Like we need that as homeschool moms, as regular moms, as human beings. Like we were meant for to be taking care of ourselves. So for curriculum, there isn't a lot of change happening because there are curriculums, independent and group study, that are carrying over. That's kind of always how we do things. I don't worry about finishing by a certain date or starting new curriculum on a certain date. It is really just like we just keep going. And then as we shift things out, as we finish them, then I'll add things in. And sometimes I don't wait until we shift things out for certain reasons. So for example, I'll start with history because that's the really only new curriculum that we started in August. And it was only once, we've only done lesson 1. So I feel like I can't give you like, a full review of it, but my kids are excited about it and I love it so far. I really liked that it wasn't super long, but that it also really set a good foundation. There was a video in there as well. I just thought it was really well done. So this is the new history by The Good and the Beautiful. I shared a whole video about this, so I'm not going to dive in super deep about it, but you have your course book, and then the kids have their own student explorer. So although my 14-year-old is a 9th grader this year, I did get him the grades 7 through 8 student explorer, and because I wanted to include him in the history altogether. And then I got my technically 5th grader, my 10-year-old, the grades 3 through 6 student explorer, and then my 5 and 6-year-olds, the K through 2 history activity book that goes along with it. And so I really liked that they all had things to connect to the lesson at their level. And then what I was going to mention really quick, when I said like sometimes I'll wait till I'm done with a curriculum before starting a new one, like not overlapping history, because why? So I was going to wait to start this until after we finished Middle Ages, because I'm doing Middle Ages really just as my 14-year-old. At this point, we did the Gather Round Homeschool, Ancient Civilizations with like him and my oldest before my oldest graduated, and then we moved into Middle Ages and it was mostly just him. I was going to have my 10-year-old jump in on it, but I'm not too worried about that because once I saw this was coming out, I wanted to try this because instead of focusing on just one time period, it gives the entire arc of history in a year, and then each year it will dig in deeper in different places. So it really helps resolve the question in my mind that I had about like, okay, so if we spend a whole year on American history in like 1st grade, and when we do a different time period, like we're not going to circle back until like 4th or 5th or 6th grade, and like it's a really long time to not be learning American history. Not that you can't still like review or read books about it, or like picture books or go on field trips, but I really like the idea that you cycle back through every year and then you dig in deeper in different areas each year. So I'm really excited about that format for history. So the reason I didn't wait to start this is because I don't want to rush through Middle Ages. We still have about half of it to do, my 14-year-old and I, and because technically this isn't a high school curriculum. I actually like the idea of including him in on this. So we're doing history as a full group subject, which I love to have at least one subject that we're doing all together as a family. I don't want to force it if it doesn't make sense, but I like this idea a lot because I feel like even for a ninth grader, like reviewing the whole arc of history throughout this year will be really helpful, like a really helpful framework. And then we'll continue to like dive into Middle Ages like we are. And then I also have the Vikings unit from Gather Round Homeschool. And these are only 20 lesson units. So they take us longer than 20 days or 4 weeks or even 5 weeks because we don't do them every single day. But I just feel like that combination is going to be sort of like the extra that we need to make history make sense for him for ninth grade, if that makes sense. But back into the structure of the history that I really liked, it also has like this maps and images book. So it'll have you flip to an image or a map that connects with the lesson. And then there is a timeline book. So there's like a sticker that you put on. We only have done one so far because we did one lesson and it's creation right here. And like I said, there was a video, and then certain lessons will have a story from the big book of history stories. So a story that goes along with that time period. So really excited about this and glad that we have kind of like that one group subject as an anchor. Like I said, we still do read alouds together. We still do Bible study together and prayer and all of those things. But I love that we have a core subject all together this year. I'm so excited about that, if you can't tell. The other thing that we do all together is World Watch News. So this is a 10-minute news segment. I've shared about it before. You may have heard many other people share about it because it's been around for a while. But it is designed for kids to be appropriate for kids, and it is a biblical worldview, and it is 5 days a week, a new 10-minute long news segment. So it is how we cover current events in our homeschool. I just pull it up on my iPad and we watch it together during like our morning time. And it's really been a great way to spark conversations, to talk about media bias, and to be informed enough of current events. I don't feel like we need to know everything that's happening in the world because it can be really overwhelming, and especially for kids, it's not necessary. Like, I'm not a huge news person, so I feel like it's a good balance for all of us. Like, we have some awareness of what's going on, but we're not over like focused on that and consumed by it. And I did want to share that I do have an offer from World Watch News for 4 months free of World Watch News. So I will put a link down in the description box below in case you're interested in that. Okay, so they have been continuing their independent math and language arts. All 4 of my children who are homeschooled are doing math and language arts still with the Good and the Beautiful. I will make sure to link the Good and the Beautiful down in the description box, and you can find anything by them that I mentioned in today's video. But also something that we are trying out is time for learning. I think I mentioned this in that last month's video that we were going to be trying it out. We haven't used it a ton yet. We've gone on a few times to familiarize ourselves with the platform and the courses that we registered for. And we are still deciding if like my 9th grader is going to do any of his full subject courses in Time for Learning, or if he's just going to use it as a supplemental, or if he's going to just do 1 or 2 electives through Time for Learning. So we're still sort of testing it out, and I've given them zero pressure. Like, we are going to test it out a couple times a week and then make some decisions about how much we're going to use it. For my younger kids, it's definitely going to be more supplemental. It's going to be something that I use for them to work on some skills, maybe to learn some new concepts in a different way. So yeah, my 10-year-old is kind of somewhere in between. If she like loves a subject, or we find that a subject works really well for her through Time for Learning, we may consider letting her do 1 full subject on there. I don't want her on the computer much. I don't really want any of my kids on the computer much, but I do allow it a little bit more for my 14-year-old. And then supplementally, similarly to my 5 and 6-year-olds, and even my 9th grader, if there are classes in there that she really enjoys to do supplementally, we'll do those a couple of times a week as well. But I feel like Time for Learning is great for a wide range of parents, like parents who maybe are working from home and truly don't have the time to teach as much one-on-one with their kids, or their kids aren't able to kind of work independently with a physical curriculum, that maybe Time for Learning would be really great for those families. I'm not an affiliate with Time for Learning, and I don't have a discount code or anything like that, but I wanted to just share my perspective, that you can do like from one course to your entire homeschool curriculum all on Time for Learning. So there is like a free trial. There is a quiz for you to see like what would be a good fit for your family. And so I will link Time for Learning down in the description box, but it's not an affiliate link or anything like that. So I wanted to share that, and I will continue to keep you guys updated in what capacity we end up using Time for Learning for each of my different kids. Other things that I wanted to share are books that I'm currently reading. So I have just started these within the last couple of weeks. I think I shared the books that I was reading in last month's video, but just in case I didn't, I've been reading Like Do Your Youth. I should be done with this because it's not a long book and I love it, but I'm not done with it yet. I have a couple more chapters left, and the same thing goes for Homeschooling, You're Doing It Right Just by Doing It by Ginny Urich, the author of 1,000 Hours Outside. And this is really, really good if you need encouragement for homeschooling, whether you're just starting out or whether you are a seasoned homeschooler. And then I just added in, as if I need to be reading like 5 and 6 books at a time, but this is my brain. Homegrown, Guidance and Inspiration for Navigating Your Homeschool Journey. This is like a bunch of different essays by a ton of different homeschool moms. So I think that's a really cool thing. And then Overwhelmed Mom. I started this and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so good. And then this is actually on pre-order, but Amy Hughes from Simple Little Amy sent me this, Words Like Honey, How to Avoid Unintentional Harm, Model Kindness, and Nurture Your Child's Faith Through What You Say. This is gold, absolute gold. Like I highly recommend getting on Amazon, pre-ordering it, or if you're seeing this after, I think it's September 9th is the release date, then just go ahead and order it because it is so good. So those are the books that I'm currently reading. Who knows how long they will take me, rotating through 5 books. And then any other books I end up picking up around here that I haven't finished. But those are the ones that I'm pulling from to try to just like prepare my heart for a new homeschool year. And as far as read alouds go, there are a ton of read alouds that we are going to touch on throughout the course of this school year. But in the beginning, this is what we are going to be working on and starting with. So we haven't started this yet, but we will be starting Elizabeth Elliot's biography. This is from the Christian Heroes Then and Now series. We've done a ton of their books so far. We just did Jim Elliot last. And so we're jumping into Elizabeth Elliot so that we can hear her story and see things from her perspective. Then we are also reading, where is it? The last book in the Little House series. We are, I guess, maybe like about a quarter of a way through this. These Happy Golden Years, we're reading that. And then we're also reading The Rise and Fall of Man's Soul, which is like an adapted version of The Holy War by John Bunyan. This is like a spiritual allegory all about like spiritual warfare. And then also we are working back through all of the Tuttle Twins books. Now, these are ones that I did. I've had these for a few years. I haven't shared them in a while because I basically like did them all with my older kids, and then we just like hadn't done them for a while, or we would do like randomly do one that like fit with something that we wanted to learn about or connected with something we were already learning about or doing. And then my younger 3 kids have shown a lot of interest in these books because they're always like right up there on my shelf, and like they've been grabbing them and reading them and looking at them. And so I was like, you know what, we're gonna go back through all of these books as a family, including my 14-year-old, because it's been a while since I read them to him and my oldest son. And so we're going back through these and reading through them, and we're actually going to be getting some of their newer books that we don't have. So this is like their first set that we got. And I'm actually really excited to continue. Like we've only done 3 or 4 as a family so far in like this past month, and we're going to be continuing to do a minimum of 1 a week, probably more like 2, depending on how deep into the topic we go, because they also come with like the PDF activity book that has like extension activities to dig deeper into the topic. They also have the audio version, so I can set it up for my kids, especially like my younger 2 who aren't reading yet, or like my 10-year-old, even though she's a great reader, sometimes she just enjoys audiobooks, and they can do it without me needing to read it to them, or, you know, just for something different. So I do have a link for the Tuttle Twins books. I will put that down in the description box below if you are interested in that. And I think that's everything that I wanted to share with you guys. I feel like there's not a ton of new stuff just because that's kind of our style in terms of how we homeschool. But I will keep you posted. Let me know if you have any video requests for the month of September, because I realized that I'm pretty sure my last video was August plans and goals. So it's been like a full month, which typically is not the case. Usually I try to have one up every week, if not every other week. So let me know if you have video requests for the month of September, and I will try to make those happen. If not, you know you will always catch me at the beginning of the month for a monthly recap and monthly plans and goals videos. And I'm always more active over on Instagram. So if you're not already following me over there, you can follow me there at rooted_homelife. I hope to see you over there and in one of my next videos. So until next time, stay rooted.